I'm just updating the description. Anyway, I was trying to make this into just a list, not a drop down, for example. To see how to do that. And this one is new. It needs more work, but there's already a video on it. Because this one shows the mean value, but then also minimum and maximum. So obviously need to display this in a different way. And this doesn't yet work. It's only random noise at the moment. And the size of this thing, you have to. Yes, sometimes it's giving an error. Here I have to do more work on that one. One was one of the first tools. I need to add another file that actually has a seizure in it. But then you could just use this for labeled, for data that are already labeled. So ideally it will be another one with seizure activity. And you can just look at it straight away. And and I just fixed the filter order just before. So this should it shows how it gets overlaid if the filter order is small. Yeah, 1 is minimum. And when you increase it, it becomes more separated. And I think 10 is default. And I was doing some changes to this because the original idea was that you set the parameters and then hit this button. But then I just added that it will respond to changing this grid, but then if you change it like that, it keeps loading it keeps reloading it many times, which is not great. So I still need to fix it. Yeah, I think if you just move it once, if you just click on it once, it should be fine. But if you're moving the slider, then it will keep generating those. And same for this. So essentially the idea of this one is if you have small enough, so the training set is that red um, signal. So when you have only, say in this case, what is it, 6 points, then the algorithm is struggling to make a prediction of what's coming next. But if you have about 20 or so, then it's able to do something. And if you have more, it doesn't necessarily improve it, because you can still have some weird results once in a while. Well, this is pretty good so far, but I think the default, if I refresh the screen, is 16 or something. And in that case, it will, yeah, sometimes do funny things. Yeah, like here, for example. Even though it does show that the error is very low, but then it's not quite accurate. And yes, I wanted to fix this one was called NN, noisy sign prediction. NN, noisy sign prediction. I added this LED that will indicate if the answer was reached or not. And there was also putting a delay of we'll just test this one. So just rebuilding the site live. Just looking on another screen to so this site will update hopefully in like 10 seconds or so. So it should see then another LED over here. Not sure if it's actually doing something useful or not, but oh yeah. So I don't know why in this case it decided that it's reached a good answer, but previously it didn't. In this case it says it didn't reach an answer, so I don't know what's yeah, I have to check its parameters. Yeah, and here it's doing something reasonable to begin with, but then going into some sort of chaos. So yeah, let me know if I can improve this one. Go to all right, that's one of the first things that was running. Um, well, it's a neural. Yeah, now I loaded it again with just the default settings and it's giving. So it's predicting the signal to be this, and it's not clear. Well, it's kind of up to you to decide if this prediction is good or not. It doesn't. It looks a bit odd to me. And this plot will measure like how many it will estimate the error. So interesting that the algorithm thinks it did well, but then yeah, well if you look at it, it's a bit odd. Uh, and yes, for this one you should be able to measure what's called the entropy. It's essentially like how regular or irregular the signal is, because in this case it looks highly irregular. So it will have a higher entropy, so more chaotic, more chaos. But yeah, in this case it's the entropy will be lower, so less chaos, more predictable. And yeah, it's essentially just showing that how with some yeah, these two parameters don't seem to make much difference. Maybe I didn't implement it properly, I have to check. But this one, if you place it at some level, it will say 50% of the time or so. Well, so say if you make it 10 or something, yeah. So when you make it 10, it's essentially always, well, it cannot make a prediction, right? But then, well, because that training signal is too short. But yeah, once you get something like this, it's able to make prediction like what 50% of the time it's giving something reasonable. Yeah, in this case, it still says that the result was reached. Anyway, it needs more testing, but it's just for you to play with. So yeah, so I'll do more live updates of this thing.